This is official podcast recording of episode 2.
Episode 2. Here we go,
Third
baby.
time's a charm. Teaser was number 1. This is going to be fun today.
It is.
It's a very, very quiet household.
It's kind of scary quiet.
It is. It is. So
Where'd everybody go?
Well, thankfully, they are out of the house today. It's their spring break. Mom took them out to lunch to give us some space. And now I'm kind of like, I wonder if I want that space or not.
I know.
It
It's a
feels
little
weird.
eerie
Yeah,
and
we'll
weird.
We'll get through it.
Yep. We'll
get
do
through
it.
So,
yep.
clinky, clinky.
Clanky, clanky.
Yay.
It's Champagne Wishes with Abby and Martha as they'll dive into their lives, relationships, current events, and host guests from time to time to talk with and to learn from, and to build a stronger connection with their community. They'll be stripping away the pretty filters and will be bringing you everyday realness along the way. And here they are, Abby and Martha.
It's bubbly.
It is bubbly.
Lubricant of the day. Lubricant of the day. We went with I Wish I Was a Ninja is the name of this bottle of wine. It's a South African, well, it's not a champagne. It's kind of cidery, sparkling wine. Pretty tasty.
It is good.
It's pretty
It is.
tasty,
I'm not
so-
a big brute champagne fan, so it does give you a little bit of something. I don't know. A little bit of
It
fruit.
doesn't pull you down as much.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
liking
good. It's really good.
I like
Okay,
it.
so it was daylight saving time.
Saving time, not savings, which I will fully admit to saying daylight savings time my entire life since yesterday.
So I just found out from you that it's saving. I thought it was savings. So who popped your bubble and told you the truth?
Well, thanks. It was a meteorologist that I love, Brian Busby.
Oh.
Brian Busby on Facebook shared a meme about it's daylight saving time, not savings time.
Got it.
And now I've got to have a conversation with all of my children because I guarantee you they all say savings.
I did up until today. So
When you know
Very
better, you
good.
do better.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
So I think it's quite a day for us to record a podcast. It's March 15th, and normally we're not supposed to tell the date because Steve said, but it's kind of important to today and what our podcast is about.
Yes,
So today is Ava's birthday,
14, right?
14, big
Yeah.
14. And last year on this day, she was driving to Colorado with her bestie. And we were nervous about it, but COVID hadn't really kicked in full steam yet.
We didn't know what we were up against yet.
No
right?
clue.
Yeah.
No clue. So they got there, and as soon as they arrived, they were told they were shutting down all the mountains and they needed to turn around and come home.
Wow.
So the topic of today is the pandemic.
Yes, a year in review.
A year in review. Oh my God.
Yes.
What a year too.
It has been.
So to prepare for today, I went through my camera and just looked at, the entire last year. And to say that it felt like a decade's worth of pictures and totally different moments and times and feelings. Like, it has been a roller coaster.
It has.
Brutal.
It has.
Brutal.
Yep. So for me, I remember so my husband and I went on a trip to the BVI and left a world that was completely different when we came back. We were on a boat going around to the islands in BVI, and we've done this one other time with my sister and brother-in-law. We had a great time, but by the end of the trip, I would say we had a 7-day trip, and by day 5, the islands were shutting down. So they would, like, Joost Van Dyke has Soggy Dollar. It's a pretty famous bar. And I remember going there one of the last days we were vacationing, and we pull up and Soggy Dollar's closed. So they've completely shut down. There's Hindu's Hideout, which is next door. We went there and they were serving, but they kept everybody, like, they started separating people. They were getting word, that this was coming and it's very dangerous virus. And I remember tapping the waitress on the shoulder, and she took a Lysol bottle and sprayed it over her shoulder.
my gosh.
I wasn't prepared for that. I'm not saying
wow.
that Lysol's a bad thing. It's great. But I was like,
To spray
what?
yourself.
Like, she was like, I touched her, and then she Lysol'd her shoulder, and I'm like,
Wow.
whoa, this is what's coming. And I just came
Yeah.
back to the United States and was like, wow, everything was shut down, stay-at-home order. It's a
Joe and I
surreal
were
time.
sitting
So,
here and we're like, do we text them?
Yeah.
Do we tell them what's happening here? Because I think at that point, do you remember what dates those were?
I don't, but I know it was March because it was right around my sister's birthdays this month. So
It had to have been, I think it was after Ava had gotten home.
so it's towards the
think.
end of March, maybe.
I can't remember exactly,
know.
but I do know that while you were away, Joe had gone to the fire department and came home that morning, and he was like green and said, babe, there's nothing at the grocery store. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not true. And then I went out and saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, there is literally nothing here. So we started taking pilgrimages and like stocking up on food. And I was like, well, we got to get stuff for the Cromwells too, because, oh my God, they're in the BVIs.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were coming home to. You
No,
really didn't.
had no
that
idea.
That
It
had
was-
to have been quite a shock.
It was such a shock. And then in this beautiful setup, we have Abby has these hidden cabinets. And I remember coming over in March, pulled it out. There's like syrup and like all this stuff. And I'm like, you are brilliant. She's like, never again will I lose out on items. And then, of course, the toilet paper deal. But,
Oh my gosh, it wasn't
yeah.
even so much about losing out on items. I was like, I've got to be able to feed my family.
That's what I meant,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be a doomsday prepper for the rest of my life, but I'm probably going to be a little bit of a doomsday prepper.
Well, I mean, it's just having a little bit of backstock, like you
Yeah,
said.
gotta
Like
have the
even the home
backstock.
edit girls
Oh,
say,
thank you,
gotta
Home
keep,
Edit.
keep that backstock. You don't want to run out. And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that is what that taught us is that hey, now I hear that they're overstocked at the stores on toilet paper and other
Oh
items.
yeah.
So
But in the beginning with the toilet paper thing, so kind of going back for Christmas, I always get Joe Christmas presents, and he'll look at me and be like, "Ugh, thanks, thanks for that." It'll be a shirt that's red, and he's like, "I'll never wear red," and now he wears it weekly, stuff like that. And I got him a Tushy. And a Tushy is like this little bidet that you can connect to your toilet. And he looked at me like I was a freaking idiot. How dare I get him a Tushy? Put it on, put it under the bed, like never looked at it again. And then when the shit hit the fan, literally, I was like, hey, we have a Tushy, buddy. And guess who loves his Tushy?
I bet
Yeah, he should be a spokesperson for Tushy.
he had us like convinced too.
Yeah, I think we gave you one.
I
You were
know,
like,
and I
"You
haven't
need
ever
one."
installed it yet.
I'll
but
take
I
it back.
should. I
I'll take it back.
Oh my goodness. So yes, a weird, I think the anxiety level of this year. So I struggle with anxiety anyways, but
Yeah.
with this year, definitely the ups and downs and then the not knowing. So day by day, things were changing as we all experienced daily.
And-
You can go here, you can't go here. You got to wear a mask. You got to stay home. And it's just, I think that's an overwhelming,
Oh, it's taken all of us up by, this huge storm of surprise, but then the waves of it. So for the kids, they came home. This would be their spring break. They're on spring break this week as well. And then we were told they weren't going back to school after spring break. So our family almost took it as a little win. We were like, you know what? We're going to batten down the hatches, cook incredible food. We're going to watch Tiger King, and we all freaking loved it.
I know.
So we got our Tiger King in. It was all Tiger King. Everyone was talking like it. Joe can do great voices. We were having a blast. We started the most epic movie list, which I'm going to post. It's on my Facebook, but I'll also repost it again of all these movies that we watched with our kids during the last year. And so for the first couple weeks, almost month, we were having a great time. The kids were close. Nobody was we were all together all the time. Ava would be downstairs. Lily would be downstairs. We just all really hung tight.
rare. For
Very
families.
rare.
Yeah.
And very rare for my teenagers to feel like not being in their room 24/7 either. So the first couple weeks was great. And then I had some clients reach out and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to work. That was a huge struggle and debate for us too, because Joe's at the fire station being potentially exposed.
Right.
But I have to work. I have to go out and help people buy and sell homes. So we didn't have that ability to say, I get to work from home. We couldn't do that. So that was a real scary, scary struggle too.
I know. And I remember, if we're just being honest here, which I know we are, being very angry. When I got back from BVI, I had some listings that were coming and people that wanted to sell their homes. And I just remember the noise around saying, well, you have to stay home. You can't. And I just thought to myself, you're going to have to tie me to this chair. I will be protected. So mask. And I just remember feeling very, and I don't know that was definitely
Anger over the judgment because you were going out and working,
well,
or
just angry that we were living in a time that that was a discussion, right?
Right.
I've never been told I can't go out and do my thing, and so
Yeah.
did that freedom of and I need to work and make money, and
That's how we eat.
Yeah,
we
that's how
don't
we
have
eat.
the
Right.
luxury of staying home.
No, so I remember battling that and thinking, oh my gosh, this is so not right. But I knew it's a struggle, because you knew safety was obviously a concern, but then your freedom and ability to do what you do for a living is being hindered or suppressed. A big thing for us is open houses. Okay. And that was a big deal for us starting last spring. We get a lot of our business from meeting people in open houses, networking events, those type of deals. And that was all gone.
I was holding virtual open houses.
Were you?
For clients that were like, hey, I got to sell my house. But, so I feel like around that time too, it was very difficult because I did feel judged. You know who's coming and going in your neighborhood. You can look out the door and see. And I feel like some people didn't have to do that, but we had to do that. Right. And Joe's also a first responder. And it probably was more in my head than anything.
Probably.
But I definitely was like, I know people are looking at me thinking, you crazy lady, how could you be doing this? And then my answer was always like, I got to feed my family. So it really... And then we've had to plow through it. And with the real estate market the way that it is, it just has continued to plow. So
Absolutely.
But anyway, so let's talk about quarantine puppies. Did you get a quarantine puppy?
I sure did.
So did I. Did you actually go out and make the choice to get a quarantine puppy?
Yes, we did. We did. Yes.
My choice was made for me. Thanks, Lily.
I think you need to tell that story. It's pretty funny. So most people, the parents decide to kind of, we're scouting out a puppy. That's ours. Nothing really too exciting. We found a breeder, waited for Winston to be born, and voila, here he is.
Yeah.
What's your story?
So we got the bug to do home renos during the quarantine, which a lot of people did. We decided, we're in this house 24/7. We need new carpet. We've got 6 people in here, a dog. We throw parties. We're not really diligent at all about people taking their shoes off. So as we're sitting around in our own filth, we're like, God, we need new carpet. So we go out, we get the new carpet. It's the day before install. And Lily walks into my bedroom with 3 of her friends and then also the littles. Well, all of them. All 4 of my kids walk in with a couple of friends. And they have this tiny, tiny puppy in their hands. And, oh my gosh, Mom, we were coming home from the pool and we heard this puppy crying and whining. And someone left it in a box over in the new construction. And we're like, what? And all the kids are like this. Yeah. Everyone's nodding their heads up and down. Sorry if you can't see me here. But yeah, all the kids are nodding, except there was one girl who was like pale. And I'm like, guilt was eating her alive and she couldn't buy in. And so I thanked that girl for tipping us off. But Joe looked at that puppy and he was like, get that effing dog out of my house right now. And then by the next morning, Joe was like, come here, pretty girl. Come here, little girl. Oh, my God. She's a total shit ass of a dog, which totally means she fits in perfectly at our house. And so she's here. Lola Bing Bong Ding Dong.
Yes, Bing Bong Ding Dong.
Bing Bong Ding Dong.
We
do.
Good puppet. But she is.
She's a tornado.
And I love Joe. He's like, we got a puppy just in time for new carpet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We took it really well. And then we've had some moments of like, man, we really didn't choose to bring this dog in the house. But then once everyone's fallen in love with her, there's just nothing you can do. Yeah, she's here forever. She's a power
animal lovers.
She's a stinker and we love her.
Yes.
So, but Winnie was a choice, a deliberate one. And your kids they were so excited. They talked about it for a month.
They were.
Before you got your
puppy.
So
before we got Winnie, Mark and I had 2 golden retrievers when we were dating. And one of them is still up with, while we were building our home, actually, we went and stayed with Mark's parents. And so once we went up there, they have 30 acres up there. So once they experienced that, they ended up staying, whether or not my mother and father-in-law, that was very gracious of them to let them stay because they had a much better life up there running around having a blast. But our one dog, Alfie, did pass away this year in August. And so it really weighed heavy on my heart for many reasons. He was our first dog, and then we got Daisy, who's still living up at my parents-in-law. But Winston came in October. He was born in September 1st, and then we got him at the end of October. So, but yeah, he's a good boy. He's a puppy though. He gets neutered tomorrow. So.
Oh, good. We need to do that for Lola too. And I've always said I think puppies are harder than babies.
They are.
Truly. I mean, a baby stays in one spot. You know what you got to do. Puppies are everywhere. They are more work than a child.
They are. And then you have a 4-year-old that fights with him and all that good stuff. So kind of wonder if maybe it was a little too early for Marky, but we love Winston and he's
a good dog. Yeah, he really is. He really is.
So
let me refresh your memory to this fun little Facebook group. Do you remember Quarantine Beer Chugs? I think I might have invited you to that.
Yes,
that was a fun little moment. It was
entertaining.
Entertaining, fun little moment. I did upload a couple of videos. And then I think once I was tired of eating and drinking, I got rid of Quarantine Beer Chugs. But that to me was also like, so we had Tiger King, we had Quarantine Beer Chugs.
It was an outlet. It was entertainment. We're stuck at home.
It was funny. Oh my gosh, what a good trip that was.
It was. And then Tiger King, like you said. And going back to that, I did enjoy for that short time. It was kind of, so a positive of this last year was that it's almost like time sort of stood still and you didn't feel that because you couldn't go anywhere. So it was like there was that pressure of like having to go and do and be everything to everybody. It was like that was removed. And so that was really nice.
We got to be in our four walls for a really long time, and that worked out great. Did you know of anyone that got coronavirus?
I do. So when we got back from our trip in March, my brother-in-law, Jim, he got COVID, and he was actually in the ICU for over 11 days, and
they like tested him 6 times, and it kept coming back negative. I do remember that.
Yes, it was horrible. He got really, really sick, and thank God he recovered, and he's doing well today. But very, very scary situation. My sister lives in North Carolina. And so she's out there with her son, their son, and basically by herself. Now. So it was very scary, and it was very scary for me. I'm like, do I get on a plane and fly? Or I don't even know if flights were even... I think they were
for
still
a while.
flying.
Not around then. I think you couldn't have, even if you wanted to.
So just very scary. I don't know of anyone else that got it to the point where
it was super scary like that.
Super scary, but
I knew quite a few people that have gotten it that were thankfully, thank God, able to get through it and have some bad side effects. My dearest friend, she actually found out she was pregnant at the beginning of the shutdown. And so she was able to work from home. But, we had always talked about and envisioned me being a big part of that whole scenario. Like you think of that, right? Your best friend's having a baby and you just want to be there for her. And
absolutely.
We weren't able to do that. It was not fun at all. And then she went and had the baby and came home, and they ended up getting sick, and she still doesn't have her taste of smell or taste of smell, taste or sense of smell back.
It's a client of mine, actually. His wife did pass away from COVID as well. It's just been a hard year for everybody. And, but
I kind of see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel coming up. I do. My dad, he lives in North Carolina, and usually every year he'll fly out and spend a week with us or so, but he's in his 70s and, smoked basically his entire life at this point, and we couldn't risk really having him come out. And we did take a road trip through Tennessee and North Carolina, and we took precautions before we left to make sure we were all safe and healthy to do that. And the debate was real. Do we stop and say hello to my dad, who, he's in recovery. He's been sober for almost 30 years now, and his the thing that has kept him going and thriving in that is he's always gone to AA. He's been a sponsor. He's worked at the VA helping people with that. And so he wasn't able to go to VA meetings or AA meetings. So that was really, really tough. And I called him and I was like, Dad, I'm a couple hours away. I'm dying to come see you, but it's totally up to you. And he started crying. He was like, you got to come. I got to see you. I got to, see the kids. Aww. So we practiced social distancing and hung out outside. And, but it was, it's that older group of people that you really worry about. Same with my mom. She ended up in the hospital for a couple of weeks with COPD, but we all thought that maybe she had it. So just very intense moments throughout the whole last year, but then also some really great moments too. So we've kind of had to think outside of the box. We weren't able to have my Halloween party that we always have that is a neighborhood, blast. Everybody comes, we all dress up. So this year we did a little fall festival in our neighborhood and allowed people to come take pictures. And we did, a parade outside and stayed outside the whole time for Halloween. And you still had to get it in a little bit.
And we did.
Yeah, we did.
And we did the same thing for we did
Santa Claus?
Yeah, Santa Claus, and we did the 12 Days of Christmas. That was really fun and something really not related to COVID, but something that allowed us to be socially distanced. But we did a giveaway online. Yeah, that was a lot of fun too. So
we brought Santa Claus around on a party bus for everyone to take a picture with outside if they wanted to. That was cool.
That was fun. A lot of fun. Yep. So we've tried to pivot and do the best that we can, reaching out to friends and family and doing the best we can.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Well, I would say to wrap it all up, and as far as pandemic world is concerned, it was a roller coaster. We've gotten through it, and thank you. I wouldn't have been able to get through it without you and the help of other friends and the support. And I mean, plenty of times like pulling our hair out, crying, frustrated. But you kind of have to lean on the people around you during those times. And boy, we figured that out real quick.
We did. And it was, like you said, it took all of us together and being there for each other when it's too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Too much
holidays,
is too much.
We had to totally switch our holidays around.
Yes.
And I had my first Friendsgiving of my entire life. That was cool.
Yes.
We couldn't be around our older, parents or in-laws or something or anything like that. So I did have fun doing our first Friendsgiving. Thanksgiving.
That was
funny.
Cool. Yep, that was a blast. We went down to our condo and cooked everything in a tiny little galley kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And
3 turkeys.
Yes.
I think, was it 3?
Yeah, we fried one, you baked one, and then, no, we fried 2 and baked one.
That's right.
And then
Just for us.
Yes, just for us. We had so much food left over and it was so cold outside that we literally just left it out on the on the deck. So, but we had a blast. That was a lot of fun. And we literally put up a table in the living room, cardboard table, but it really felt nice to be able to get away and be able to share that with you. Again, we would have loved to have had our family too, but it was a lot of fun. So,
you know what else we didn't cover? The quarantine 15.
Oh yeah, about that. So I over the quarantine year, I probably lost 15 pounds and then gained 15. So
cute.
Or
I probably lost 15 or 20, and I did really great maintaining until Christmas. And I was like, I remember I got on the scales after Christmas. I was like, well, you know what? I've really kind of maintained. And then in February, I was like, holy shit, what has happened?
I know.
I do not know. I think we went through that sub-zero, like negative 20 degrees outside and was very sedentary.
Yeah, it's
quarantine 15 came back with a vengeance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's I know because I've talked to other women and men that have said, man, it's just, and the thing is when you're going nowhere, if you're can't talk.
She'll get it together.
Yes, I'll get it together. When you aren't really going out and about and there's really nowhere to go.
Right. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And if you're in my house, you're going to make homemade meals and treats and drink really good wine.
Eat.
Deviled eggs.
Deviled. Yep.
Well, I think this was a podcast that we definitely needed to have. We
Absolutely.
have to acknowledge what we just kind of came through and like look forward to the future here. But I'm really excited to talk about our next podcast.
Yay, I know. I am too.
Okay, so are you one of those women that love to sit back in your bed and watch true crime shows before you go to sleep?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Mm-hmm. No, you're not.
I like the Sinner.
Oh, you liked Sinner. Yeah, well, we can get to Sinner in a second. But
okay, that's not really
are you one
crime.
Of those women that watch true crime?
No, I'm not. But I know
bloody,
several.
gory. Like I know a couple people. First off, my sister is obsessed, and she probably has the highest anxiety of anyone I know in my life. She won't mind me telling you that. She'll tell you herself, and I don't get it. How can you lay in bed and watch women recounting or family members recounting these horrific experiences and then be like, night night.
I know. And a good friend of ours, Jennifer, is the same way. She loves it. And podcasts that talk about this. So she even recommended one to us yesterday.
She did.
Yeah.
True crime or I can't remember.
Something monkey
like that.
or something. I thought it was.
Well, I did a quick Google search on it before we had our show today to just kind of brush up on it. And I was like, top true crime podcast, thinking that I would see the one that she referenced yesterday. No, there was a list of 60 to go through. Of the top 60, I'm like, Jesus, there's 60 of true crime. So anyway, we are going to do a podcast. We're going to have those two ladies on where they can tell us about their obsession. I really do want to do some research though, because there's like science behind why women love that.
Really?
I don't get
we
it.
got to dive into that.
Yeah, and usually I have a rule like at night, it's got to be nice and easy show, content, anything that I watch so that I'm not anxious before I fall asleep until you told me about Sinner.
Yeah.
And then
Sinner.
you totally rocked my world. And Joe was pissed. He's like, hey, we never watch anything that's aggressive before we go to sleep because you can't sleep. Now Martha tells you to watch Sinner and you're up till 4 a.m. watching this gory, horrible. I'm like, yeah, I binged 3 seasons probably within a week.
You've watched the other 2. I've only watched the 1. But
Oh my
Jessica
God.
Biel in The Sinner, watch episode or season 1 first. You won't be able to stop.
Oh, man.
Jennifer's husband Ben watched it when we were at the lake, and he couldn't.
He was
stop.
up till 4 a.m.
Yeah,
too.
you can't. It's just one of those things you can't. You're like, I got to know what's happening. I got to connect these dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe woke up and he was like, do you know what time it is? And I was like, no, don't tell me. La, 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 la.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to know. And I was actually, when I went back and looked at it, I'm like, I couldn't tell you the last time I was up till 3 or even 2. Like, it's lights out 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Me
And
too.
if I'm
Me
out
too.
and about, it's usually midnight is the,
Absolutely. Yeah.
we're done.
Yep. Me too.
Toast.
Me too. Yep.
Yep. So that one got me. That was a good one. If
Yeah.
anyone's not watched it,
Gotta watch
I suggest
it.
you watch it.
Yep.
And then also be prepared. So if you are one of those women or men that love those shows, please send us a little note, leave something in a comment, tell us why you like
Yes.
it, what your obsession's about, because we're really going to kind of dig into it because I don't get it. I really don't. I don't.
Nope. I love it.
So, all right. Well,
Very
clinky,
good.
clinky.
Clinky, clinky.
Success.
Yay. Success.
All right. I will see you soon. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay.
How long was
feel-
that, Steve?
25-50.
Damn, that was shorter than the last one.
I don't like this one. I think it was
It's
very
kind of a downer.
negative. It's a
It's a
total
downer.
downer. I don't like it at all.
Well, we'll be able to listen to it and play it back. Steve, what do you have to say there?
It was a serious topic.
It was
That's the topic.